Hello, Gemini. Welcome back to my Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for December 2020 for Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. This is a general reading, so it's not going to resonate with everybody, and it's going to resonate differently if Gemini is your Sun, your Moon, or your Rising, according to what that position means. So if it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Alright, my dear Gemini, how are you? Hope you're well. We just had a full moon in your sign. Thank you for that. That was intense for some of us. You have the Four of Wands as your current energy. Let's see what's your challenge, Gemini. King of Cups is your challenge. Now let's see what's the advice. Interesting. I don't read reverses, but this one did come specifically like this, like all my cards are upright. So given that this one came backwards, I think there's something to it. And a Three of Cups. Very well. And let's see what's the future energy. Interesting. The Five of Cups and Seven of Wands. It's a lot of cards for you, darling. Alright, and bottom of the deck, you have the Knight of Pentacles as the theme of your reading. The theme of this month of December. I'm going to clarify the cards first. Let's clarify. Where is this Four of Wands here as the current energy for my dear Gemini? Son of Cups. Or is the King of Cups as the challenge for Gemini in the month of December? Three of Pentacles, Son of Wands, and Three of Wands. Okay. Now let's see why are these cards here as your advice? Eight of Pentacles. This was here, right? Yeah. And why are these cards here as future energy? That was quick. Eight of Swords. And bottom of the deck you have the Five of Pentacles with the Knight of Pentacles as the theme of your reading. Pentacles. So it seems to me that this month of December you're going to become more concerned with very worldly matters, with physical reality, with things that you can touch and feel, and maybe some very real concerns about your finances, or about your living situation, or about also how you spend your time, with whom, what do you invest in, time-wise, money-wise, energy-wise, routine-wise, and so on. The Knight of Pentacles talks about many things, but in this context I think it talks about taking things slow. I'm just gonna let that pass. It's very loud. Taking things slowly and really pondering about exactly this. Where am I going to plant this seed? Where do I want to invest? How and why? And all nights talk about expanding the boundaries of your current realm, whatever that realm is. In this case, is the pentacles, the physical reality, right? So somehow I think that this month of December, you're going to try to expand the boundaries of your living situation as it is, a work situation, living situation, and to allow some growth. But this seems to be like you're really looking around and seeing, like taking that vantage point, come to a still, taking the vantage point, seeing what are the opportunities in front of you, and sit with that for a bit. Not just rush to the first thing that seems to appear your way, because that's not necessarily how it goes. It's more about, is this working for me? Is this good for me? Is this a new house or new job or new opportunity, whatever that means? Something that I invest my time or money in. Does it bear fruits for me as I am right now at this point in time, rather than maybe dreams that I had in the past or expectations that people have of me? So it's a process of discernment, and it's a process of taking your time to know what you're investing in. Okay, I'm repeating myself. The Five of Pentacles comes here to clarify this card as the theme of your reading. And the Five of Pentacles talks about like hardships, yes, like expansion of your realm as well. But it's that freedom that comes at the cost of uncertainty. So you must have experienced a lot of uncertainty, and you must be experiencing that so far. And I think that now because it comes with the Knight of Pentacles, there's some opportunities in front of you that can take you out or push you forward beyond this point of freedom and uncertainty, this duality. But again, it's something that needs to be taken slowly. And even though sometimes feels frustrating for Gemini, because you're very quick, you like things happen very, very quick-witted, get bored fast, you want to jump from one thing to another, you are being asked to really, really take your time. And also feel like what didn't work for you so far. Why? What is it that it may be outside circumstances, like come on, losing a job due to corona, or a project or things like this can't be taken as something that you've done wrong, or it's not about that. It's not about finding things in this sense of faults. Not at all. It's about like, okay, what works for me and what doesn't, what makes me feel motivated and I want to invest in, and what makes me feel much like this rose here, like really drained and lifeless. Maybe you've had jobs in the past, or life situations and relationships and homes, or flat shares or whatever, where you felt truly drained, where you felt isolated and separated, like not really being able to belong in there. The question is not what you've done wrong or anything of the sort. It's like, okay, what was it that made me feel like that? What was it that made me feel lifeless and separated and isolated? And where do I better put my energy in next so I can experience something different? I hope that makes sense. These are the themes of this month for you. So current energy, what you're experiencing right now, would be Four of Wands with the Son of Cups. And Four of Wands is like that moment of where you have your foundation set. and in this case it's about spiritual foundation, it's about also belief systems. It's kind of clear to you what your value system is right now, and you can recognize it, and you can take your time to recognize it, and to also see what brought you here. And I think this is very important, especially in this context, because this can help you knowing what your value system is, knowing also of the Son of Cups. What is it that what is the emotional experience that you have and you want to experience? What is it really in your cup that brings you joy? And how can you access that? Accessing that, the level of creativity and playfulness. So you know now what brings you joy. You know now what is it that you really want, what makes sense for you, what makes you tick. You start putting one step in front of each other from this very clear space. Okay, you may not know the steps, you may not know exactly where this is going, but you know now at least what brings you joy, what makes you tick, what is of value to you. And what are the beliefs that you want to operate from? Not just the internalized belief that we grow up with that usually go around the fact that maybe I'm supposed to be like this or supposed to be like that, or maybe I'm not good enough in this way, in this way, in this way. So I need to tailor myself so I can fit into this reality. I think these are beliefs that this new belief system, I don't know if it's new, but it's more like deeper, that's anchored in a deeper understanding of your soul's journey, and what is it that you are here to experience. And instead of fighting or pushing things, steering the ship in a direction that maybe it was not for you, you're learning to take joy in accepting your life as it is, accepting your soul contract, if that makes sense. And I think this is a bit of a guiding system for you. Again, what makes you feel separated, what makes you drained, what makes you feel like lifeless, and in opposition to what brings you joy. This is something that it's kind of like, okay, lifeless, not that way, been there, done that, didn't work. This brings me more joy. Maybe it's not what I expected, maybe it's not what my parents told me I should how I should live my life, or whatever. That's a very simplified version of it, but you understand what I mean. But this brings me joy. Maybe I'm starting to bring more of this into my life, and I learn where do I actually plant this in order to cultivate more of this, more awareness, more joy. And joy does not necessarily mean that happiness that Hollywood is selling us. Joy can mean something incredibly different, and it can manifest in itself just by having an inner peace and a deep trust in yourself and in life, and an acceptance of reality as it is, rather than having to always fight and change and so on. They say in Buddhism, they say that these moments of awakening, they can feel like a sad joy. When we see finally, we wake up to an awareness, a deep insight of how lost we were in, I don't know, certain life patterns or belief systems or actions that were not healthy for us. And then when we finally find ourselves, it feels so joyful to recover a part of ourselves back into ourselves. But it can feel also sad just seeing how lost we were. But that's that joy that we can feel in these moments of awakening. is the deepest, most wholesome feeling we can have, or at least that I've experienced. Is your challenge, you have the King of Cups, these two threes, the Three of Pentacles and the Three of Wands and the Son of Wands. King of Cups. I'll read it in this position as emotional maturity. Fine. You may know and understand what is it that brings you joy. You may have this drive to create, to express, to artistically express even. Yet, with this King of Cups here, tells me that as your challenge position tells me that you may have problems bring this to fruition and to maturity, because you may feel triggered by these emotional waves that can be quite intense. And I think that these emotional waves can come from your collaborations with other people, and also your expectations of reality of the plan ahead. Like, okay, I made this plan, things are supposed to work this way, but they're not working exactly this way, therefore I feel very triggered. And it may feel like certain people in your life are making this happen, like not doing their part well, or maybe you feel you're letting your other people down, you're not doing your part well, and feel disappointment and feeling like, growth is being halted somehow for this reason, and this can feel triggering. I believe that this is part of the journey. I believe that these setbacks are meant to be there because you're meant to deal with these exact emotions. You're meant to master these emotions and sit a little bit with what makes you feel disappointed, what makes you feel like this, blah, 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 blah. How to interact with people that maybe have high expectations of you, or you have high expectations of them. How do you deal with plans that aren't working the way you want them to? Like, and regurgitate this from this completely different setting. What you, because you have the capacity now, you have the capacity to sit with these emotions and actually feel into them and get new information than what you would normally get, like maybe feeling life is shit, things don't work out, the universe is out there to get me, the blah blah blah, which are we are all guilty to feel like that every once in a while. Guilty again, it's not about guilt, but we've all felt like that every once in a while, no matter how spiritual we are. And if we say we didn't, that means that we literally bypass them, because that's not real, that's delusional. We are meant to experience these things, and we all do to a certain degree. Yet we can experience this for ages and not come with anything new. This time though, I feel like if you're actually sitting with this, it will bring you in this maturity, it will bring you in this awareness that you didn't have before, of learning to cope with setbacks without taking it to your heart. Maybe learning how to float above these emotions that come strongly, and maybe understanding why setbacks are so painful to you, if that's the case. This is very internal. This is what I have the sensation that, like, this is happening for you to be able to process this and understand with curiosity. Be curious, having this experience with curiosity, and see, like, okay, what are these waves like, emotional waves? What are the triggers? What are the events in my life happening that are triggering this? And how can I, when I say rise above them, I don't mean like not feeling them or dissociating from them or whatever, just not having them control me, This is a tough one and it's a good one. So I feel like you have this really great capacity to learn about this right now, and it's great wisdom that you're getting from there. I'm a bit jealous. Sometimes I get very reactive myself. And there are moments where I feel like I can really be with it and act, like feel without having to react in a certain way. But sometimes when the wounds are very fresh or very, very intense, or I'm getting triggered by people closer to me that matter to me more, yeah, it's not that easy. And sometimes I can't be this King of Cups. So I can relate to this, and I can understand how sometimes we feel like I don't want to do this kind of work right now. Yet I think that this challenge is happening for you right now, and especially coming with this Five of Pentacles, is like it's helping you heal something that is it's a deep wound of separation, of abandonment, of feeling misunderstood, of feeling let down. And maybe this is what's being triggered when you have small setbacks in your life, that things don't work in a certain way, whatever you've been planning, whatever you've been weaving there and hoping. Weaving, interesting, I said weaving, and there's a spider right here. Okay, so this Two of Swords that was in reverse, and the Three of Cups, another three threes in this reading, and the Eight of Pentacles as advice. I think this Two of Swords in reverse as your advice is telling you to really be careful at your communication and not expect to take any decisions right now. Take your time. Take your time. Feel into this. Go back and forth and check with your new guidance system, with this very clear foundation of belief system, and check in with yourself and see whatever it is that you're experiencing and is triggering you and makes you feel like rather emotionally agitated in however way. If you don't start communicating immediately, and if you don't just put it out there in the sense of like, okay, it's your fault, or ultimatums or things like this, if you don't do things like this, then we're done. It's kind of ultimatums, but rather take the time to process this internally, and also making use of let's say a support group. If you have friends that understand this type of work, emotions without judgment, emotional work, and that you feel open, you feel you can open yourself up to talk about these feelings of isolation, and understanding this like conflict between setbacks, plans, how you envision things, what is your internal guiding system, what to do next with these opportunities that are coming to you. Take your time and process this with your close friends that are supportive to you, that you feel supported by, rather than judged and criticized. And if you don't have a support group of friends of this type, you could also look out for other kinds of support groups, like online groups, for example. There's insight dialogue groups that you can participate in, communities out there, or communities that of people that maybe come from certain backgrounds that you feel you can resonate with, whether it's if you have an addiction problem. There's a lot of like people with addiction programs, like I don't know, the 12 steps, or um Dharma punks, the what's that one called, like refuge recovery. By the way, you don't need to be an addict to be in refuge recovery. It's an amazingly supportive group, or maybe you have to, I don't remember. But there's also like the programs that, spiritual programs, or programs that are more psychologically based, where that could be free. There's this one, like, what was it called? ACA, I don't know, something with children that were of alcoholics or dysfunctional families. Adult children of alcoholics or dysfunctional families, ACAD. So if you come from an environment where you actually felt like this the whole time in your childhood, like separated, like rejected, like you're not good enough, like, and you have had like all kind of dysfunctionalities, you can find a lot of support from joining these meetings. They have meetings everywhere in the world, online, now, especially with Corona. And we can find support by sharing there, by listening to other people sharing, by feeling inspired. I see a lot of like threes. I think there's a lot of connectivity here. And whatever it is that challenging you right now, you can process this in a group. And of the Eight of Pentacles as well. I think you're also being guided to, like, yeah, weave this new way of spending your time, and the work that you're doing, like create a clear structure and a support system for yourself, connective system, connective tissues, through support groups, whether it's friends or what I mentioned, like all kinds of these communities that can help you process things, by having routines that are helpful for you, by having creating, identifying the tools that really work for you, whether that be meditating on a daily basis, or doing your yoga or your sports, whatever it is that you do, whether running it does the trick, or whatever it is that brings you into that place of reflectiveness and brings you joy. Maybe if you artistic creation of sorts, journaling or painting or writing fiction, I don't know, photography, mindful, whatever it is that brings that joy and allows you to connect to yourself and others from this place of like, hey, we are here for each other, we're supporting each other. It's not necessarily about expectations and so on, but rather to help you process your thing. That's going to really help. So again, don't communicate radically, and don't give any ultimatums. Don't remove yourself from a situation right now just yet. Give yourself time to process. You're going to process these things internally and with other people, and you're creating yourself this support network of people and practices that can keep you present, connected to your what brings you joy, connected to your value system, and informing you of where and how you can truly invest of yourself, so that you grow out of this feeling of separation and drained and so on. Okay, darling, and then future energy. I think this whole thing is gonna take you to this point where you will be able to have pretty clear and strong boundaries, and your belief systems will be much clearer to you, because you have actions that will come from that, and you will see how that works for you, and how much truth they hold for you. And you will have enough, like, you'll create space for you to process these emotions that had been triggering, and you will be able to see what in your mind creates what type of emotions. You'll be able to see the stories. You'll be able to tend to your mental health and understand the storylines behind these feelings of separation, and you will be able to mourn whatever needs to be mourned in your life. Mourning, it's a very, very important process and should not be dismissed. It's not always so comfortable, but it feels amazing when you finally release stuck bad, not bad feelings, but stuck emotions of longing and pain. We can mourn our period of feeling isolated and separated, and we can mourn that we didn't have maybe the most normal childhood, or the most feeling always like feeling in a way that we belong. That can be mourned, and then it can be released, and then you're able to move on, and you're able to let these swords down. This, like, Eight of Swords talks about or many things, but in this case I read it as feeling in a way a prisoner of your own mind, because we internalize these feelings of separation. We internalize that we are somehow, if we don't receive enough love, we're not cared for in our most fragile years. We internalize that somehow we're not worthy for that love and care. And that's not something that we can bypass easily from our minds. We can rationalize and think rationally that of course I'm worthy just as much as anyone else, and yet the beliefs are still there. But now you're creating this new structure, this amazing new structure that is more nurturing to yourself and more tending to the parts of yourself that maybe aren't that obvious. By creating this very, very good container for yourself, by holding the ground and being able to stand up for yourself, being able to understand what's true to you, you will be able to also start releasing yourself from the prison of your mind, and not by rationalizing your way around it, but by simply processing. And these swords will just not have any more power over you. The thoughts that had been imprisoning you, the thoughts that had been maybe telling you on a daily basis the story that certain things you cannot do, or you're not lovable, or you can't make it out there, or you don't matter, or what you do doesn't matter, or things like this, are just not gonna have as much power over you as they used to have before. Okay, this was a very interesting reading. I do feel quite inspired by it. I'm gonna pull a Rumi Oracle card. But since this reading got quite long, I think I'm not gonna read everything. I'm just gonna go to the guidance. That's what I always say, I never do. Let's see what pops out for you, darling. I see this as a very positive reading. I don't know if you perceive it as such. The themes that come up, yes, are a little bit tough. We are also processing the last of Saturn and Jupiter in Capricorn, which comes with exactly these themes of, hey, my value, my worth deep down inside of myself, and how does that affect me, and how I interact with the world in the physical reality. The human gift. Oh, beautiful. The human gift. Number 17. Okay, so the poem from Rumi says, "O heart, what is your excuse for all these blunders? Such loyalty is offered by the beloved, yet so much treason comes from you. Such kindness is offered by the beloved, yet so much defiance and resistance comes from you. Such grace is offered by the beloved, yet so much fault and failure comes from you. Such attraction is offered by the beloved with sweetness and generosity, yet such jealousy comes from you with so much doubt and suspicion." Rumi. Okay, so this actually makes me believe that you've been, it's not necessarily other people that let you down. You feel like you're letting yourself down, or like you're letting other people down. Maybe you feel like you're not rising up to your own expectations here. It can be both, but it feels a little bit like that for this poem. Gosh, it's always hard to summarize this thing, but I will start with the beginning because it's actually the most important part here. Be kind to your heart. You may believe it to be weary from doubt and distrust, so much heartbreak and so many agonies, yet it still beats. It still persists with unquestioning allegiance to life. What a grand heart it is, this sacred heart of yours. How can it be worthy of anything other than tenderness, gratitude, acknowledgement, and appreciation? Do not plague your heart with falsehoods and expectations of some disembodied perfection. The perfection of your heart is that it loves still, even if you try to stop it with some notion of self-protection from future hurt through doubt or fear. It still loves. It is perfection that it hopes even after despair, that it holds compassion even after experiences of fear. So then, what is there left to do but breathe the grandest sigh of relief and allow yourself the essential luxury of peace within? So then everything is all right, even at some moments it seems not to be. Still your heart beats in honor of life. The heart can be nurtured and coaxed into gentle acceptance of all that is, and the divine sight will become available to you. Yes, sacred sight is what is behind this oracle for you now, beloved. You are meant to be witnessing something important, something that will make the presence of the divine in your affairs more real to you. It will be something you can come to count on at all times, and in that gain greater peace and the realization that yes, it is safe to trust and surrender. Okay, let's... This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are, or soon will be, seeing with greater clarity and insight a situation that has been obscure to you in the past. You may be startled by what you perceive, so much so that you second-guess yourself or chalk it up to wild imagination on your part. You are asked to trust in your perception that when they come from the heart, although what you perceive may be darkness, there will be no judgment in it. See what is truthfully there. Be in the compassionate nature of your heart, and you shall also be shown the most graceful way to become clear and free of darkness, either within yourself or within others and the world around you. That's so on point here. Alright, sacred honoring ritual. If you feel like doing it, go for it. If not, let it go. It goes like this. Place your hands on your heart and say the following aloud. I love you. You are strong, brave and powerful. You are gentle, vulnerable and inspired. You are truth. You are insight. You are wisdom. You are life. I love you and you are safe. You are the divine made flesh. You, my precious heart, my precious connection to life, I adore you. Thank you for loving. Let us open the inner window. Let the stale emotion out and breathe in fresh life now. For you are to be well and thrive according to love's grace and wisdom. I trust in what you know and what you see. In compassion, I honor all perceptions of truth. So be it. You have finished your sacred honoring ritual. All right, my dear. I wish you wonderful December. I think you're gonna do great with this, actually. Given what I'm seeing here in your current energy, and given the everything that I see here, it's actually looking great. You have amazing potential to navigate this and to move into the next chapter, which is new for all of us, with a lot more Aquarius energy, a lot more focus on the collective, on humanity at large, and on new ways of actually new systems, new structures, new paradigms, and so on. Happy holidays if you celebrate any holidays. Happy New Year, and may our practice benefit all beings. If you resonate with this reading, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you here soon.